Good afternoon. I hope people are joining me. If not, we will proceed as usual. I'm going to start right off by reading my mission statement. When life is difficult, many people feel alone, believing nobody can truly understand their struggles. But in truth, although the story is different for each of us, we all live with and through the same emotional experiences: pain, joy, passion. These feelings are what I consider to be the common bond between human beings. It is my sincere desire that a person reading this book realizes that someone else has felt what they have and that they are not alone. Well, it's been an interesting month for sure. First thing I want to talk about is, and I want to say goodbye to Sharon Osbourne. You know, you got on TV and you cried and you showed your true colors. You had the nerve to disrespect um, Cheryl Underwood, yelling at her like she was a child. That right there showed that uh, you are at the least prejudiced and disrespectful, but you're a racist, Sharon, and we accept it whether you do or not. So say la vie, goodbye, so long, Avidazane. I want to go right into this Derek Jackson thing. I used to get him on. Some people would share some of the things that he would say. And the first thing that I noticed in his videos is how cocky and self assured that he was. And he was just so, sure about what he was saying. And I thought to myself, hmm. And the other fact that he was mainly directing his comments to women, um, when in fact, I thought that he should at the least uh, be including men because they are the ones who he was really talking about. And then it comes to turn to find out that he was really talking about his wife. He was telling her, just like Bill Cosby told us, what he was doing in his skits and his comedy routines, and even in his show, you know, the narcissist is amazing in their belief that everything is about them and no one can see through their bullshit. One thing the Nutty Bar did for us the 4 years that he was in office, and when I say us, I mean Americans as a whole, he demonstrated what a true narcissist looks like and how everything centers around them. No matter what it is, they did it. And unless it turns out to be a negative situation, and then it's about somebody else. It's somebody else's fault, or somebody else made them do it, or, it wouldn't have happened if a person wouldn't have done, A through Z. This thing with Derek Jackson really, really shows how insidious narcissism is. I mean, this guy gets on YouTube and makes a video in third person. It was amazing. But that's how men can do what they do because they have the ability to compartmentalize. So when a man cheats on his wife and he says, she don't really mean nothing to me, I want to be with you, he really means that because in his mind that, the lines aren't touching, that, this is over here and that is over there. They have, I got use for this, but this can't come over there. Their minds is like a section plate. And so they think that there's a spot for everything. They don't um, live in the life of wholeness as how women do. We, the lines touch for us. There is no separation. Now women cheat too. It's not about that women don't cheat. It's just that the way that the reasons that men use to justify being able to cheat is because the lines don't touch to them. So if I do this over here, it's not going to affect this over here. And that's how they see things. And this guy, Jackson, is absolutely amazing. Now, to speak on his wife, my daughter, when I started doing these commentaries, she said to me, "Mom, you don't have to dress up, all the time. You can just be, casual, whatever." And I told her, "No, I'm going to dress up every time. I'm speaking to people, and I want them to know that I care about them by showing them that I care about me." It's just that simple. Nobody said that she had to have on a whole lot of makeup and eyelashes and a wig, or even her hair. She could have just had her hair, but to come on, and he has millions of followers, to come on that video with a bonnet on. You should not be wearing a bonnet outside your house, period. Bonnets are not hairdressers. They are for the nighttime, for you to sleep in, to keep a hairstyle or to keep your hair from breaking off. They're not for everyday wear all day long. And then she turns around and makes a video to justify looking the way that she did. And I'm not saying that it necessarily has to be about other people, but man, do you even respect yourself? And what about your children? What about your girl children if you have girl children? Mommy's gonna come in front of millions of people with something that serious and just look like she just fell out of bed? Really? Come on now. This whole idea of, you know, anything goes, it's a bunch of bullshit because anything does not go. There has to be some limitations, guidelines, and stipulations because there always will be consequences. Most definitely. If you don't have some type of parameters around the way that you want to experience life, there will be a price to pay for it, even if it's a good thing. I mentioned that before. There's a consequence for everything that we do. But why, especially in that circumstance, they have the picture of the girl that he was cheating with, and then and the simple mind is going to say, well, no wonder. Because that's the easiest thing to go to say, well, you're not taking care of yourself. But ultimately, it really didn't have anything to do with that. Is that he wanted his wife and he wanted to be single at the same time. It just really comes down to that. And he ultimately has no respect for himself, none for his family, none for the base that he's been able to create, the followers. You're talking to these people, telling them, giving them the signs of if a man is cheating, or if a man is disrespectful to you, or if a man really loves you, or if he really cares, and all of this. And you're actually speaking from real time experience. You're doing these things. And then to turn around and make a video in third person talking about yourself. Dude, and now some men think that it was clever and it was smooth and all that. No, it was just more bullshit. And a part of me, if it wasn't for the women coming forward, that was just like a marketing ploy. So you're going to discount your book 50%. You know, dude, you canceled yourself. Cancel culture didn't have anything to do with any cancellation. You canceled yourself. Your actions canceled you. Who you are not canceled you. Now I watch Love and Marriage. It was in Alabama, and there's a married man on there named Martell, and he's a tried and true narcissist too. And this week, I mean, it's been heart wrenching. This weekend, I watched it last night. And he sat there and told her that I love you to death, and I miss our family, and I miss you, and I miss, and she started crying because she still really loves him. But then when he saw that she was not gonna fall for it, like she's falling for it before, he called her a hoe. I'm like, whoa. So the only way that you can feel good about yourself and the things that you have done to ruin your situation. I mean, these people were school teachers. And everybody knows school teachers don't make money. And they multimillionaires now because they came together and used their talents and was able to build an empire. And you gonna turn it down because of what? So he told her. She told him, I wouldn't have never left you. He turned around and said, but I would have left you. So you just mad because she left you. Because you letting her know that had she not left you, you were gonna leave her. So you mad because she was strong enough to do it first? No, that's not true. You weren't gonna never leave her. Because I can guarantee you this woman that you called a peasant, that's an idiot, and turn around and get pregnant by you. You have no respect for her either. And she's doing what you want her to do. You always took good care of me. And that's monetary because he was still coming home every night. The wife and him, you wasn't getting him. You was getting his sperm. Now you got the baby to prove it. And that's it. And so now you're going to just get child support because he's never going to marry you. He's going to always want his wife back. Man, it's just amazing to me how people cannot see themselves. I am so grateful for the time that I was depressed and I was really like, why me? And trying to figure it out and trying to get to a better place. And on that road to the better place, I found out why it was me because I was mean and judgmental, angry, hateful, all of that. And I had to work out, had no humility, no compassion. I had to work through all of that to get to the other side, to get to the me that I am presently. But when you can't do that, when you can't do that self reflection, when you have no empathy, when you have no understanding of what makes you tick, what you end up doing is hurting everyone around you. And then when they push back and say, okay, enough is enough. I done took enough from you. I done dealt with enough for you. Then you like, what I do? No, it's really you. If you hadn't have did, or if you would have did, but what this guy Martell doesn't realize is that what he is missing has nothing to do with sex. And that's basically what he's talking about, why he went and got another woman, because sexual acts that she wouldn't perform. You know, really, dude? No, what it is that you're so shallow and so needy. Your parents didn't meet certain of your basic needs. And now you expect for this woman to do and be everything for you. And that is impossible. And then plus with 4 kids. So she's supposed to be your mama and they mama too. No, baby, you got to get off the tit. You need to be by yourself. You need to do some self-reflection. You need to look in the mirror and accept that you're not the man that you think that you are, that your money, your prestige, and if you look up prestige is a French word and it means false. This false surrounding that you have brought for yourself. And it's all just crumbling down before you. And you can't stand it, now you're crying. Probably ain't never cried in your life since you was a kid. And probably didn't do much then. Because you were too busy building this bravado that you have now that is not serving you and did not serve you well. It served you well enough to build up, to tear it down. You tore your own playhouse down. Remind me of one of my favorite songs, Ann Peoples. What she say? You think you got it all set up. You think you got the perfect plan. You charm every girl you see and play with everyone that you can. But I got news for you. I hope it don't hit you too hard. One of these days while you're at play, I'm gonna catch you off guard. I'm gonna tear your playhouse down. Pretty soon, I'm gonna tear your playhouse down. Room by room. But don't it hurt when you do it to yourself? The worst disappointment a person can have is when they disappoint themselves. And that's why you have to continue to strive to be the best that you can be. When somebody tell you that, I don't know if I'm the person for you, a lot of women take that to mean, everything but what it really means, instead of really listening to what this person is saying, because a lot of times you done made up in your mind that this is the one for you. And he telling you all the time, he ain't even the one for him. He not even sure. But we push it anyway. And then we end up with this heartbreak and this heartache and this lack of understanding, of how we got to where we are. When what we need to do on both sides is sit with ourselves, y'all. It's time to do some sit. If you didn't do it during the pandemic, you need to start it now. Look at this. Look at what's going on. The state's just been open almost 2 weeks and 6 or 7 mass shootings. Folks just been sitting in the house waiting to have to take their mask off and to get outside and just going around just killing up people. If you that sad and that despondent, start with you. It's just as easy to turn the gun on yourself as it is to shoot somebody else. Why you have to drag other people into your misery? What is that really about? My daughter told me that she read a post, saw a video or a post or something, that a man that was delivering food. He went to a public bathroom, and he heard the sounds of like guns being loaded. And he had the presence of mind to call the police. And sure enough, it was a man in the stall preparing to shoot up wherever he was. Really? So, you come to a public place to load, you gonna come in and load your gun. You wanted to be caught. Talking about a cry for help. You should have did that at home. Why would you come into a public bathroom and load 6 or 7 guns? People know what that sound like. Even if they never seen a gun, they done watched enough movies to know what it sounds like, the load one and the clicking and the adding the bullets. How sick do you have to be? Come on now. What is it? What is it that draws people away from their humanity? I don't understand it. It sounds cliche-ish or whatever to say, to treat people like you want to be treated. Obviously, you don't want to die because you didn't kill yourself, so whatever you are, you want to kill up multiple individuals. And for what? What truly is your end game? Because I know, a lot of black people say if they was black, they wouldn't have made it to the jail or they wouldn't have made but they do make it to the jail. Most of them, they just gonna feed them for the rest of their life. They don't have nothing. They're cut off from humanity. When you have these thoughts and these desires, I mean, I'm sure I probably mentioned this before. The one time that I really felt like I could kill somebody, I went and got me some help. I went to see me a psychiatrist. That's what they are for. And you know what the culmination, what she helped me understand, is that I wanted to control this person. I wanted them to do what I wanted them to do. I wanted them to be who I wanted them to be. And this was a grown person, you know? And when I looked at her, I'm like, how dare you? You out of control in your own life. How you gonna be mad enough to try to hurt somebody because you can't make them do what you want to do? You don't have to be special or, a scientist or, brilliant. All you have to do is be in tune with your humanity. And this is what this racism and this hate-filled society that we live in. My goodness. And people want to try to act like it's new. No, the only difference is that it's being caught in real time. It's been happening, y'all. It's been happening. Now people just catching people in the act. Are they taping themselves doing it? Mothers taping themselves beating their children. Mothers taping themselves cussing their kids out. Really? And people talk about, they don't let you, you can't discipline your children no more. Some of these videos you see why, because it's not discipline. It's 100% disrespect. Just because a child is a child does not mean they don't deserve respect as a human being. And just because you have charge over them, that does not mean that you get to talk to them and treat them any kind of way. Especially because they're your child, especially if you expect for them to show you love and respect. You have to teach them how to do that, and you have to be worthy of respect. There was a meme that came across my feed that said, how can a man be brought up by a single mother and not respect women? Because a lot of single mothers live lifestyles that's not respectful. Running their men in and out, cussing their sons because they look like their daddy, keeping the daddy from them, and they know, it's all kinds of stuff that go on. And it's 75% of the time it is. And then the other 25%, the mamas ain't there. Because they're working 3 and 4 jobs to give them Jordans and, name brand clothes and stuff that they don't even need. You can leave off one of them jobs, live within your means, and be there for your children. But that sounds crazy to people. Who's going to raise them? Who's going to guide them and show them how to live? Come on. Yes, it is tough and it's hard to make it. But I for the bulk of my kids, for 10 years, I'll say, for almost 10 years, I raised my children on $9 an hour and I had a house. The answer was no. Okay, no, you can't have that. No, you don't need that. We're going to make do, make over, and do without. I made meals and froze them for other times, you know. My kids ate beans and rice, and whatever we had to do, but I was going to be here for them. I was not going to say that I got to take another job. No. No, you have good enough clothes to wear. We have food in the house. You have a roof over your head. All that extra is just extra. And it's just something else to come in between you and the people that you are charged to make sure that they are productive, that they're capable of taking care of themselves. All that other frill and stuff don't matter. You can't live through your children. Give them what you didn't have or what you wish you had. A lot of people do that. I know that's for my generation, for sure. And I'm 59. A lot of people from my generation was reared under that umbrella. Our parents giving us what they didn't have. Okay, you know, but I chose to break that. No, and I had everything as a kid. When it came to things, wasn't nothing I didn't have. Clothes, Easter, I had Sunday school outfit, church outfit, an afternoon program outfit, and I mean from head to toe, shoes and everything. Come on now. Like I said, I'm going from first one thing and then another. I started off with Sharon and I talked about Jackson and I talked about Martell and I'm talking about, the single mother things and the people that's killing each other. I mean, it's just killing each other, killing other people. But what I'm going to ask you is to ask yourself, what are you doing for yourself to bring your best self to every situation that you're involved in? For me, I journal every day. Whatever it is, I leave it on paper. And I sit in silence. I'm up at 3:30 most mornings. When I have my horse puppy, I go for a walk. I walk out in my backyard and I look at my house and I'm thankful for my little raggedy house in my backyard. I'm thankful for my puppy, I'm thankful for my children. Thankful for the garbage man when I take the garbage out. I'm glad that that's all I have to do is just take it to the back fence. Gratitude and thankfulness could stop a whole lot of stuff. No. But instead, we live in this idea of more and more and more and give me and let me buy and let me have. But what about being a human being? And if you notice that, if you look back at my videos, most of them have to do with getting in touch with you, getting in touch with your humanity. I do relationship coaching. And I just say relationship coaching. But then when I talk to people, when I do consult with people, I let them know that the relationship that I coach is the relationship with you. I don't want to hear about your relationship with your mama, with your sisters, with your brothers, with your man. Because if you reaching out to me for some help, 9 times out of 10, you know that you're not holding yourself accountable. Accountability is the key. But we want to be able to do how we want to do and be how we want to be and expect for people to accept it. It would be one thing to do your thing and do your thing, but then don't try to force your thing on me. I'm singing today, y'all. Back in the 70s, it was a song. You can do your thing, anything you choose, but please leave my thing alone. Stop putting your insecurities on your children, on the men, on the women in your life. Get you some help. And it always ain't about rushing to the preacher. because that's becoming more and more problematic in our community. All these different preachers getting caught up, because they counseling women who are having problems with their man, and it end up in now the preacher is a man. A woman should not be counseled by a man preacher in that situation for sure. Because 9 times out of 10, it don't end well. Because even the preacher. So this is bringing me to my next thing. This, I'm only human. Mr. Jackson used that excuse that he's a human being, he's just a man. But that ain't how you portrayed yourself. You portrayed yourself as the man with the answer. You was the answer man. You was the man with the solution to the problems that other women were having with their man. So, don't try to make like being human. Being human is one of the greatest things that you could be. But when you do something wrong or something that goes against what you portrayed, now you only human. So what you're doing is you only human compared to God, right? I got you. Because I tell you, in that video that him and his wife did, I know they referenced God at least 15 times. And then when I watched the one that she did, she was scripture this and scripture that and this. You got to stop hiding behind God. You are got to be held accountable. This is why we have free will. Not even God gonna tell you what to do. Give you the tools to be able to make the right decision. And then when you still choose to make the wrong decision, then you have the nerve to try to say, that God forgives you when you didn't utilize this good sense that he gave you. Now, very well, God may forgive you, but don't expect for other people to just because you put him in it. Stop using God as a crutch. That's craziness. Stop using God as the orator of the that he's then put together your mess. He didn't have nothing to do with that. And whether you want to use him to get out of it or not is something totally different. But don't try to make like you prayed on it. And this is the answer that you came up with. Oh, I prayed on God. Do you hear these women that say that all the time? That's with this man that's beating the shit out of them. Really? So you prayed on the God told you to stay. Be honest, you chose to stay for whatever reason. For whatever reason. And 75% of the homes, whether white, black, yellow, red, whatever, are led by females that's making money and doing the best that they can. It's not like it was in the 50s. Most of them, even if they was married and they divorced, 9 times out of 10, they ain't getting child support or they fighting for it, but some kind of way, whether you on public aid or however you making somebody helping you, you doing that on your own. Why do you feel like you have to have a man to pay for you? And then within that you bought and paid for, so now you feel like, he could treat you any kind of way because he done bought and paid for you. But you claim now that you religious, you a Christian. And from what I know, that's why Jesus came. Listen, it may sound like gobbledygook, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. We got to stop using men like they are ATM. And men need to stop portraying themselves that way. It's a 50-50 thing. because men will buy a car with a woman in mind, a house with a woman in mind. They'll dress with them just like a woman would do. They'll try to lure this woman with his good credit or, his fancy shoes, whatever. And yes, our society was built on that belief. But things are different now. It's not the same. I saw a video of a man. He had a woman that was at the gun range and she was shooting the gun all crazy. You could tell it was the first time that she shot a gun. But his commentary was about women trying to be like niggas. Now he calling her a nigga. Nigga, can you cook? Can you nigga, nigga, I was thinking now, she needs to learn how to shoot if she gonna deal with a man that's gonna call her a nigga. Really? How come women trying to be like men? So a woman who's at a gun range learning how to shoot a gun, that makes her trying to be like a man? And he had to be in his 30s, if he was 30. That mentality of that a woman has to be a certain thing, has to be a certain way. And if she's not, then he ended it by saying, can you make coffee? Really? So she's regulated to just making coffee and making babies and cooking meals still. So I wrote in the comment, he talking like his great-great-granddaddy. He said, do you read a book? Do you read? It's not 1921. It's 2021. Your ideas out, seriously. I'm like, what is really going on, y'all? You see, I'm just all over the place because all this insanity. It's time for us to progress past these gender roles. It's time to us to accept that our children need both male and female role models, preferably the two people who brought them into the world, preferably living in the same household, loving and caring for each other and their children in a proactive, progressive, productive way. But we bring all of this stuff, all of these ideals that has not worked for centuries. And now that we are actually progressing, there's still those that want to put limitations on the capabilities of the one who's running it anyway. We're doing it anyway. And at the end of the day, you don't even want to do it. You just want to be the one to say that it get done. But you still want her to do it. Like I said, I'm all over the place. Whatever come to my mind, like I said, is first one thing and then another. The idea that you can put a limit on a human being, the idea that you can make mistakes in your life and then you say, I'm only human. Humans are only the greatest thing on this earth. No, it's not because you're only human that you make mistakes. It's because you step away from your humanity and make poor choices that lead to mistakes. You can call it a mistake, but it was still a choice. You can know that it's a mistake and still choose it because why? Because you want to. And that's what it really comes down to. People really think that wants matter until they get what they want and find out they didn't really want it and most definitely didn't need it. We got to pull these things together. We got to pull these things together if we are going to progress. and to be able to have a life that's worth sharing. Back to uh, Martell and the Alabama show. Prime example. Two brilliant people get together, building a legacies and dynasties. And because of his past of neglect, because he didn't get his needs met, and because he doesn't really know who he is, because he doesn't know that he's not the man that he thinks that he is, he destroyed everything that he built. And then because the woman who helped him build, who helped him shine, because she said, you know what? I'm done. It's over. No more. You sit on national TV and call the mother of your 4 children a hoe. Not even a whore. He called her a hoe twice. Man, where do you have to go to come up with that? And of course she's going to be hurt. And she's feeding into it. She's still so in love with him, that everything that he says hurts her. She doesn't have the true ego strength enough not to cuss him out. When she can refrain from cussing him out, then that's when she knows that she's the woman that she really thinks that she is. Because guess what, baby? He could slap my face. And if I'm done, I'm done. I ain't even calling the police. I ain't making no report. I ain't doing nothing. I'm walking away. Because he's unworthy. He's unworthy of her even having a conversation with. Everything should be done through a mediator. And so now, here these 2 beautiful Black people are on national TV, tearing each other apart because of a love that's lost, which very well should be until he is capable of being the man who he thinks he is. And this woman that he called a peasant, he already knew because of what he was able to get her to do. And why is she doing it? Oh, Montel, you always took good care of me. Take care of yourself. So now you down there in Alabama, everybody know who you are. And whether you realize it or not, you're foolish. There was no need for her to get pregnant by that man. None. But a lot of times women use that, think that they're going to hold him. But if he was going home to his wife every night at a reasonable hour, he was trying to see you during the day. Excuse my phone. I should have turned it off. In real life, I didn't think about that. What's most important is that you maintain your dignity, personal integrity. Personal integrity. This is how it goes. You see something you want to do, somebody you want to do. You step back and you say, is this really good for me? Can I really afford that? How is this going to affect me? How is this going to affect those around me? And then you move forward. You need to ask yourself at least 3 or 4 questions. And then, if you're still confused, this is the most important question. Can I live with this? Will I be able to sleep at night? How will I feel about myself if I do this thing? Or if I know a woman, her husband was sick, he had excuse me, had high blood pressure. They only had $200 in their checking account. She took 150 of it and bought makeup. He couldn't get his high blood pressure pills. Come on now. And she knew. That kind of stuff. And then, you expect for him to think that you love him and that you care about him. But you spend $150 on 3 items for makeup, something that you're going to wash off your face and down the drain. And sure enough, he in the hospital the next week. Personal integrity. Question your motives. Have you ever noticed that the only time you hear a person say they had good intentions is after they done fuck something up? That's why it's the old adage, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. How come if your intentions were so good, it turned out so bad? Because your intentions weren't good. Because we are the creators of our lives through our choices. We create what happens to us. Sure, there's some randomness to life, but the things that really get us, like our credit score, or whether our kids got something to eat, or whether we have some place to live, or, we're pretty much in control of that. I would say 90%. But we make these poor choices. We're going to go to the boat, or we're going to hang out with our friends, or we just not going to pay a bill, because we want to buy something that we don't need. I'm asking you to check your personal integrity. How do you feel about the things that you do to yourself and others? And how do you live with the things that you do that cause you pain? And how do you accept not being the best version of yourself because you want to get high, or you want a pack of cigarettes, or people really do. They give up their whole lives for the most pettiest reasons. Things that don't even matter 5 minutes from after they do it, let alone the long run. I have to keep putting my glasses on, y'all, because I'm seriously blind, but I have to see the time because I don't want to go over. An hour of me is long enough, but I do want to give that solid hour, because something that I say may make a difference to somebody. People tell me all the time, you think differently than most people. Well, of course I do. We all do. We all should have a YouTube channel as far as I'm concerned. Everybody is valid on some level. And maybe in doing that, people will come to understand themselves better. Like for me, I like to talk. I do. And it's not that I just like to hear myself talk. I like how my brain feels when I talk, because I'm not just talking about things that don't matter. I'm not just talking to just be talking. I'm talking in the hopes that people realize that it's not just you. And that's why I don't mind sharing my issues and my problems and things that I've gone through in my life. I don't mind sharing that, because guess what? It don't matter. There's no such thing as privacy. There's no such thing as safety. There's no such thing as being alone. If you're alone, it's because you want to be alone. There are millions and billions of people on this earth. If you choose not to reach out, that's on you. That's why we are here. We should be here for each other. We should want to be here for each other. I don't want nobody in my business. And everything is jacked up. Everybody already know you ain't got no food in your refrigerator. Everybody already know that your kids going to school with their hair not combed and their clothes is dirty and they ain't brushed their teeth. And everybody already know that stuff. That ain't what? Get you some help. And if somebody watching this, which I doubt, but if it's somebody watching this, you thinking about shooting up or killing up somebody else, look, call somebody. They got crisis lines. Call 911. Turn yourself in before you do something that is going to be down the line. Right now, it might feel good. It might feel right, because you so revved up and upset or whatever. But then 5 years from now, if it take that long, you'll be like, I don't know why I did that. And I'm so sorry. You're going to find God and all, the whole 9 yards what people do. They do the most horrendous things. The next time you see them, they thumping the Bible. Pick it up now. Don't wait until you ruin your life and the lives of hundreds of other people. Pick it up now. If that's if that's the way that you're gonna go, you're gonna find Jesus. Look for Jesus now. If you are in pain and you feeling like you are at the end of your rope, reach out to somebody. Tell somebody. Anybody. Put a message in the bottom. Just don't sit and suffer, because you are not alone. We are not alone. We all experience pain and sorrow and hurt and loss and despondency. And if you are racist, listen, you only hurting yourself. Ultimately, you only hurting yourself. Unless you physically go out and try to hurt somebody else just because they don't look like you, because of the color of their skin. And there's no way that you can be better than them if you hate them just because of that. That makes you less right off the bat. And the people who are racist, they are the most aware of their privilege. And they feel like they should have that just because they're white. I live in Kentucky, one of the poorest states in America. And when I tell you these poor white folks think they better than black folks just because they white, I'm telling you the truth. When I go out, I dress up. I wear my hats, I wear my gloves, with my different glasses, whatever I want to wear. One day I was in Walmart, and this little old white lady comes past me and she says, "Oh, you awfully cute." And it was just like she could swallow her tongue. But I looked so good. Even though she hated it, she still had to say something. But the expression on her face, she still wanted to let me know, you ain't nobody. No matter how dressed up you are and how good you look, you still black. Well, let me tell you something. I got the black magic, baby. I'm the it girl. Ain't nothing you could tell me. Because I bet you been in somebody's line trying to get these lips, trying to get these breasts that I came here and grew into. They was mine from the beginning. Or you want to dance like me, or sing like me, you know? Want to have that groove. But what we need to understand is to each his own. We each got our own thing. There's no reason for you to hate. Find your thing. Find your thing. And to Mr. Jackson, if you happen to see this, shame on you. Shame on you. And set that woman free. Let a man have her that's gonna treat her appropriately and not sit and force her. You could tell by the way you was holding her hand that you were forcing her to do that video. And every time she tried to move, you pulled her tighter. Over 75% of our communication is physical. There has not been one person that I've seen that's responded to that video that did not recognize that this woman is being abused, whether physically, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. You are abusive to her. And you need to give it up. You need to step down. But instead, you still pushing yourself forward, trying to sell your book, because that's what it's really all about. You trying to make money. And you portray to have something to offer. And isn't it brought down, Jesse Jackson, same thing. He been married 40, 50 years. Woman comes, she claimed that she came to do a book on him. Didn't get the book, but they got a baby. What you doing ain't nothing new, brother. But what will be new if you accept accountability for it and stand up and be the man that you think that you are? Too much has been offered to the maleness of this world, really. It's not just America, all over the world. Just because a man is a man, that's all. But it's a new day. We need feminine energy. We need to balance this thing out, okay? We need to step more into wholeness. Forget this, not touching the lines. The lines touch. The lines touch. We the same, only different. You hear me? We are the same, but only different. May that be the difference that you got a penis, I got a vagina. May that difference be that, my skin is caramel black, brown, whatever you want to call it, and yours is, pink, white, whatever you want to call it. May it be the difference that I'm 5'4" and you 5'10". We the same, only different. And we have to celebrate our differences and stop insisting that either we follow, total row, or just completely step back and let you have it all. And may that be, whatever that is and whomever that is. And the other thing, and the last thing, we got to vote, y'all. They doing everything they can. Breaking rules, breaking laws to try to keep us from going to the polls. That's the answer to a lot of problems, not all the problems, but to the ones that's going to make a difference as far as institutional racism is concerned. We can make some changes with that with our vote, because it's the people that's in power that's keeping that bullshit in place. Get them out, get the right folks in, and we can get some things done. So I hope that I've said something that makes a difference. I hope that it was entertaining on some level. I hope you have a great afternoon. Be good to yourself. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Recognize your humanity and the humanity in others. Keep your hands to yourself. Leave your guns at home. And let's just, enjoy the ride. Be thankful. Be grateful. Put some understanding on it. Put some love on it. Good night.